Hello and welcome to Anime Dumpster Dive, where we go in-depth on an anime that's been considered trash by pretty much anybody. I am your host and liberator, Jake H., and I am joined by my co-host and X-Star, DJ,
Hello.
and my other co-host, and clearly a woman dressed as a man, Anthony.
Hello,
That's him.
that's me.
All right, so today's anime that we're going to be talking about has a lot of, beautiful women in them. So guys, how about to give the listeners a more in-depth look into what we're into when it comes to anime? How about you guys tell me about your waifu?
My waifu is Yuno Gasai. She's my waifu because she's the best ever. And she's also kind of scary. But mostly she's the best ever.
You get that kind of scaroused feeling from her.
No, just I'm really into her personality. I think she's a nice girl, and I think I could go on nice little cute coffee dates with her, and me and her could just have a good time to just forget about the world, just me and her, just have a good time. Despite whatever might be going on around us, whatever murders or
what she does on her free time is up to her.
Dying.
Yeah, well, yeah. I support her and her decisions. So whatever she wants to do, is up to her. I don't mind. That's my waifu, Yuno Kasai.
All right, Anthony, how about
That's
you?
your waifu? My waifu is mine. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like from a Kal Mega Kill?
Yeah, no. I know, seriously. My waifu is, because we're on the theme, it's Musubi. I love Musubi to death. I wish I could marry Musubi from Sekirei. We would be great together.
Real typical, Anthony.
That's typical? Is that typical?
I thought if you're going to pick somebody from Sekirei, it'd be Uzume. Oh,
Uzume.
wait.
Isn't she your favorite?
But she's dead, so...
Spoilers.
Musubi's got
Damn it, I did it again.
maybe the best hits in the whole show, Anthony. So
Yeah.
I got to give it to you.
Skumi exists in that show.
What did I say to that?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know about her. I don't know. Compared to Musubi's death, I don't know.
All right, for me, I have a lot, but the one that takes the cake is our anime's third best girl, Rin Tosaka. I love me a well done tsundere, and Rin is probably the best.
I like to call Rin Tosaka Red Dress McGee.
Oh, because she wears red?
Yeah, because she wears red.
Really categorize that, for yourself.
Yeah. Just so I, remember her. I differentiate her between her and all the other characters.
Is Saber blue armor Magoo or what?
Bluey McGooey.
Bluey Magoo. Okay.
And Red Dress McGee.
Red Dress McGee. Yeah, I love Rin. She's got all the tsundere stuff. She's got the ZR. She's got the twin tails, and she's got the red sweater, and just fantastic. Also,
Speaking
great
of twin
character.
tails, this anime.
Yes.
Oh wait, we have to get into it first.
Okay. All right. So I think DJ's ready to go. How about you, Anthony?
I am ready and willing.
All right. So, the anime that we watched this week was Valkyrie Drive Mermaid, and here is a brief little synopsis. By the way, I could not understand a single way they pronounced anyone's name in the English dub because they said it like they were going at like 200% speed. So forgive me here.
I agree.
Momori is an average 16-year-old girl, or at least she thinks she is. She is actually infected with a special virus that requires her to be quarantined to the island of Mermaid. There she meets Mireille, another girl who is infected. Together they will squeeze, rub, and kiss their way to the truth to learn more about the virus and powers that come with it. Let's dive on into Valkyrie Drive Mermaid.
That's what I'm fucking talking about.
So,
Yeah.
So this is directed by Hiroku Kaneko, who also directed Manyu Haikensho, which is an anime about ninja girls with big boobs stealing each other's boobs. And
Okay.
Makenkai, the second season of Makenkai, which I didn't look that one up because I felt that first one was enough. It is made by Studio Arms, who did Elfen Lied. It is written by Yusuke Kuroda, who also worked on shows such as High School of the Dead and Drifters.
It explains so much. I'm just kidding. I can't contribute.
You know.
Yeah. So let's talk about our main characters. Let's talk with the first person we see, which is Momori, whose last name in kanji looks very similar to the word virgin. What did you guys think of her?
Well, I mean, like, first and foremost, Momori, like, when it's written down on paper, is a gigantic play on mammary. So I thought that was just absolutely silly that they're setting this girl up. Mammary virgin.
Boobs, Jake.
Yeah,
Second
boob,
that.
Yeah,
boob
I'm
virgin. Boob
it's a boob
virgin?
joke.
What?
Thinking about
So
boob jokes.
I get it. I get where they're coming from. Without spoiling too much, I think that Momori is, she doesn't really fall into the standard characteristic of a main character, I guess. I mean, she does have, some pretty redeeming qualities, some bravery that shines through, her undesirable qualities. But, I mean, for a 16-year-old girl who clearly has absolutely no idea how the world works, she is a pretty standard main character.
She reminds me a lot of those like main characters that we see in other ecchi like animes, such as like the Minato and the the guy from Handshakers. I can't remember his name, but those type of characters.
I don't know.
Where she is like kind of freaked out from the whole like the all boob perspective, but it's kind of happening to her instead of like landing on a girl and be like, oh, I'm touching a boob. It's kind of like, this girl's grabbing me. What's happening?
Yeah.
She has a much better reason to be freaking out.
Yeah, she has a much better reason to be freaking out.
I'd say so. I mean, like I said, they set up her name to really portray that in her character too. So, I mean, the fact that she is upset by everybody calling her a virgin or playing on her last name, she really fits that archetype, Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, no, that's it. I mean,
Okay.
She lives up to the name.
Yeah, but I mean, like, continuing to make that comparison to other, like, ecchi protagonists, she has that she has that I'm kind of useless until I'm brave type deal going on for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's always being saved by the secondary protagonist.
She's like Dorothy, Jake. She is she's the Dorothy of our anime here. And a little different than Dorothy, though, because she's naked the whole time and gets groped by all the other characters. But Dorothy all the same. Just wants to go home. Is in this world trying to find, her way through it. She's Dorothy. She's definitely Dorothy.
All right. Well, if she's Dorothy, then she meets the big-titted scarecrow, which is Mireille. And what'd you guys think of her, like our secondary protagonist and Mamori's partner?
Everybody knows that I have a pretty big theme, going on, whether or not a character passes the does Anthony care about them test. But just kind of blatantly, I felt that Mireille, before you crucify me, was a little one-sided, and here's why.
I'd say she's a little two-sided, if you know what I mean. If you know. Hey.
I feel like she's a pretty one-sided character that takes way too long for us to grow into, any attachment to her. And, her quiet nature and willingness to aid and protect at least Mammary in that sense was something that was pretty redeemable. she is much taller, and then you find out that she is actually younger than mammary gland. It's kind of difficult to believe because she's so well developed. But like I said, I feel like she was a pretty single, one-dimensional type of character.
Oh, absolutely.
I find your use of mammary offensive, Anthony, and I don't know why you would keep referring to such a lewd topic in the discussion of such a humble anime. Her name
You're
is
right.
Our
like
humble
Mimori?
action show.
I always called it Mimori, and I never thought of the word mammary at all. And I'm a little bit offended that you would take it to such a lewd place. I don't understand.
Well, not being able to understand any of the names in this and like having to see them written down, I didn't even put the mammary thing together until Anthony mentioned it.
And like the way that they pronounce it too, Mirai, before I shine up DJ's white knight armor here, she pronounces her name Mamori or Mamori or something like that. So like the way that they pronounce it and everything too. I mean, it's funny. It's funny. Like when you think about it, I just,
Yeah.
I just, can you refer to them, Anthony? Can you refer to them as Main Titty Sword and Blondie McMain Tits? If that would help out.
Yeah. So
Just from my understanding, would help.
For me, with Murray, I agree with you that she was the strong, silent type character for like way too long. It was kind of like she was like, oh, like I'm not really going to talk. I really only care about this one person, and that could be like well done. But for me, this one was kind of like annoying because she was like there's plenty of times where she should have communicated with other people instead of being this. Like, because then she has no problem doing it later, and it's kind of like it's not even like, oh, she's shy. Like, it's not even like she builds up anything. She just doesn't talk.
Oh yeah, I think that you can count the lines that she has within the first couple of episodes on your fingers, and like you wouldn't run out of fingers on both hands because within the first 6 episodes she barely says anything. So how in that sense, it's very one-dimensional. Very one-dimensional.
It's like, imagine Jack and Daxter, except for Jack and Daxter have a little bit of a different relationship in this in this situation. But you got the talkative one, and then you got the non-talkative one. Except for they're a little closer in this one, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, physically, a little physically closer.
Yeah.
Ew.
They know each other a bit better in this one. If you know.
Those are two main protagonists. We have a few like main side characters. Let's go into them pretty quickly. We have Akira, the governor, and the only male on the island.
Yeah.
An island filled with idiots on an island.
Who picked up the phone? Who picked up the phone early on that one? Like, who wrote it down? Did you write it down? Because I did. I wrote it down, and I'm not going to spoil a thing. But if you picked up the phone early on the second episode that the governor is introduced,
If
I'm
you don't
proud
pick
of
it
you.
up in the first appearance of the governor, you have something wrong with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's in part due to the English dub, like the choice of the actor. Right?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
what I was
like,
going to say. Yeah.
I'd say
When
that.
I first listened to this, I think the volume was low or something like that. I couldn't hear the actor's voice. And then when I watched it again, the sub, I'm pretty sure it was the sub. I don't think I listened to the dub. It's definitely a choice of actor. Kind of makes you be able to tell what's going on here.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice that they didn't like do. It's clearly a woman doing a male voice, but not.
Oh yeah.
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 It's cool that they did that, but it still kind of makes you think everyone on that island's an idiot. Then another one, and really our first antagonist that we're introduced to is Charlotte, who's kind of the like second in command of the island.
She's got inverted nipples.
Oh, okay. I mean, she also has like a special army, and her X stars are like 5 people. But yeah, let's focus on that one.
Right. Why does she get 5 of them? I don't understand.
She's my favorite, and I want to be just like her when I grow up.
You
That's
just
all
have
I
your
gotta
own little
say
harem?
about Charlotte. Yeah.
Setting the bar low, DJ. Setting the bar
Charlotte is the protagonist of our harem anime, and she's all the good scenes happen to her.
She ain't no bitcho with her harem anime either. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm a harem anime. All right, I'm gonna rock this.
Oh yeah, all the good scenes happen to her. I'm a big fan.
She the one thing I thought of when her X stars show up, I'm kind of like, all of those people would be useless by themselves.
It's very true. Kind of shitty.
I'm a portion of a butterfly wing.
I'm like, that's why she needs 5 people, is because all those people are useless without each other. And I'm glad they all turn into a matching armor set.
Oh yeah. So random happenstance, of course. Right?
My power, I turn into a left shoe. What do?
I'm the right shoe.
Oh my god.
Are you also like eggshell white? Oh
yes.
Oh my
I
God.
am.
Someone on the other side of the cafeteria just goes, "Hey, I'm a glove that's eggshell white. Get on over here."
Let's go. Let's all go find someone to attach to.
And then we have another big side character in the I did not write her name down.
Cowboy girl.
Oh,
Cowboy girl.
You want to talk about Mayfong?
Oh, fucking
I do want to talk about May Fong.
rodeo.
She's
rodeo
my favorite.
McRotates.
I love that girl so much.
I do enjoy Mayfong. One thing
Way
I
to
don't
pick
get,
the worst character in the show as your favorite.
I don't get why Mayfong has the 2
Nope.
personalities. It seems like everyone knows who she is. So I don't get why she has like the school costume where she has like the pigtails, the glasses, and like the fake boobs. And then she has, "Hey, look at me, I'm Mayfong."
Well, hello there.
And I'm like,
You want to smuggle some stuff?
I'm like,
Yeah,
why
I didn't understand
everyone
that.
knows who you are. Why are you in costume?
Welcome to America.
That's
Yeah, so-
She was.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say she provided a pretty good comic relief, and it wasn't. She was serious when it needed to be, and comedic when it wasn't. So
Yeah,
You guys are missing the best character.
I was all right. Well, let's go fully into all of our main side characters. Then we have a couple who's kind of like the rogues of the
Ooh.
island.
Yeah.
Lady and Lady.
They got the same name, Lady and Lady.
It's Lady J and Lady Ray, I believe is her name.
Rain.
Rain,
Lady
Lady Rain.
They are madly in love and destined to be together. It's a beautiful romance. Lady J has what might be the biggest tits in all of anime. So
She's ridiculous.
Oh,
She's
good
a
for her.
ridiculous fucking character.
her boobs are bigger, a lot bigger than the rest of her whole body,
Yeah.
and the rest of most characters' entire bodies. It's pretty insane.
Her and Lady Rain to me are kind of like the masked like Racer X type characters.
Oh, yeah,
because
for sure.
they we helped out, and then they just then they're like, what's their motivation? And then eventually you get their motivation, but for like the first few episodes they kind of just do whatever they want.
If like Racer X sat on somebody's face every time he raced,
Yeah.
it would be totally a Racer X. Because Lady J turns into a motorcycle,
Yep, Lady J turns into a motorcycle.
and her face, while she's the motorcycle, is the seat.
Yeah, and Rain rubs because she still has boobs, and that's how big her boobs
She
are.
does.
When she turns into a motorcycle, they're still there.
This is so
you can't
weird.
get rid of those, motorcycle or not. You're not getting rid of those, That shit
was-
ain't happening.
Aside from getting me all hot and bothered, once, maybe twice,
You can be
this
honest.
she was a character that Lady was a character that I really wish that they had fleshed out a little bit more. I think that personally they had left a lot on the table. Jake, like you mentioned, they finally revealed their motive right at the end, and I think that going in and talking about it a little earlier would have let us, potentially not look at them so much as a side character, but actually, more part of the main cast. I definitely would have appreciated that. Not just
because
they have sex,
Let me throw this out there, Anthony. This anime doesn't care.
We might get too far into...
about what you say.
All right. Never mind. The final character I wanted to talk about, it's the character I couldn't remember her name, and I still can't find it. I don't think I wrote it down. Was like the councilwoman or whatever.
Oh, the commander.
Yeah. The
Glasses.
commander. Glasses. That's I refer to her as Glasses.
Blue hair glasses girl. I like her haircut. And her boobies.
I like her because she's a liberator without a X star, and they call her like the
and
zero
I like her
arm.
roller skates.
And she can just she fights and can go toe to toe with people who have arms and stuff, and that's just something that I thought that was a cool different character.
Heck yeah, I 100% agree. I think that it was cool to show her ability.
Nice. All right. So, yeah, those are pretty much the characters that we really get to know in this show. So let's go ahead and let's throw up that spoiler tag, and let's go into our deep dive on this.
Oh, I'm gonna dive deep.
So
deep.
we start off the show super strong by watching a girl get torpedoed at an island, which is pretty awesome. And so she gets torpedoed on the island. We get some backstory. We find out that she has some sort of disease, and then we found this is Momori, and so while she's on the island, we find out this island has this castle, and we get introduced to two other characters, and they're told to test out this new girl. And when they first see her, they DJ, describe what they do.
Jake, let me back up for a second there. Let's just talk about the overall gist of this anime for a second. This is a porno. It's a porno, guys. Let's just throw it out there. I'm sure you're thinking, DJ, maybe I could get this anime on Crunchyroll. And I would say, DJ, my name is DJ. But I would say, guy who's asking me about Crunchyroll, no, you cannot. You cannot watch this anime on Crunchyroll because this anime is a porno. And they don't allow porno on Crunchyroll as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I want to watch attractive anime women beat each other up just as much as the next otaku, but, I really, really, that... pretty close to softcore porn.
No, it's
definitely softcore porn.
It's a porno.
Ugh. It was too much.
Looking for a sub, and I want to be a cheap asshole who watches anime for free. I'll go to Watch Cartoon Online, or I'll go to anime.com. But the best place to watch Valkyrie Drive Mermaid for free is Pornhub.
Is that where you watched it?
No.
All 12 episodes, uncensored, in HD, of Valkyrie Drive Mermaid are on Pornhub because it's a porno.
Well, I mean,
and
so
unfortunately,
Hamilton's on.
Unfortunately, for some of the anime we've watched, it's got a lot more going for it than them.
I actually watched it on Funimation Now.
Funimation Now.
Yep.
I saw there. I was like, I could start this free trial of Funimation Now, and then I scrolled 3 links down. I was like, oh, never mind. I could just load it up on Pornhub. So I did. I watched
it on Watch Cartoon Online, uncensored HD.
Why would you deal with all those ads, Anthony, when the whole thing's on Pornhub?
There was no ads for me. I just watched everything.
Okay, so we
whole anime.
Okay,
the thumbnail's great on Pornhub. It makes it look even more like a porno than it is. They take the most porno slice scene, the most porno thumbnail out of every episode, and they put that as the thumbnail. It's pretty crazy.
Okay, so DJ, what do the two girls do when they
grope her?
No, they don't grope her
excessively.
They grope each other.
Yes. They grope each other excessively,
and one of
One of them has very large mammaries, very large breasticles, and she turns into a weapon. Thus is the idea of this anime. There are girls who are weapons, and there are girls who use said weapons. And to get those girls to turn into the weapons, they have to bring them to climax. Like I said, this anime is a porno. It is a porno anime.
Absolutely. We learned that there's two types of girls. There are liberators, who are people who like have enhanced like bodies, I guess. And
That's a good name. Dominance. That's a good name.
And then there's X-Stars, who turn into weapons that are
I
wielded.
think they chose those names because tops and bottoms would have given away the fact that this is a porno.
What about pitchers and catchers?
Pitchers and catchers, tops and bottoms, doms and subs. It would have given the fact that this anime is just a porno, guys.
Yeah.
It's
So we get introduced to that, and they start to beat on our main character, which is a weird way to test a person's ability, especially if you don't know if that person climaxes into a weapon or if they are supposed to make a person climax. Instead, they go, let's beat the crap out of this person.
Mm-hmm.
And so as that's happening, another girl gets torpedoed at the island.
There's no rules on Tittyfuck Island, Jake.
Another girl gets torpedoed at the island, and this is when we're introduced to Mireille.
Blonde Titty Queen.
And she just instantly lands and instantly just starts molesting our other main character.
Yeah, surprise.
She's like, come here, sword girl.
And she
Rubs the fuck out of her.
And makes her climax into a sword.
Into a sword.
And then she beats the crap out of the girl with the gun, because anime.
Mm-hmm.
And
then we rinse and repeat that shit for about 5 episodes.
Pretty much. They make their way to the castle, where we meet some of our some of the characters that we mentioned before, like Charlotte, Akira, Glasses, because they're all part of this castle like faction.
The Veriters?
Yeah, the Veriters. And then they test her again. Like, I thought the island part was the test. No, this one's a test too. And they test her against the dominatrix.
She has an eye patch.
Yeah, she has an eye patch.
That's why you always use a safe word, guys. This girl lost her eye, and I'm not sure how she lost her eye, but I'm pretty certain it had to do probably with something in the bedroom. So always have a safe word, guys, if you're going to be a dominatrix. Otherwise, you might lose your eye. That's a good lesson to get from this anime.
Yeah, the dominatrix's weapon is actually pretty cool. It's kind of like that arm that launches into like a ball and chain and has rockets on it. Like I was quite impressed with the weapon design for her.
It's like a big old mace rocket fist.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. The conceptualization that they did, or at least the concepts for all of the characters and for all of the weapons that they turned into, I think that was just absolutely awesome. Something that I totally gave a thumbs up.
Most of the weapons are really, really cool.
Yeah.
They come up with, that's one of the many, facets of this anime that, slowly makes you forget that you're watching a porno.
So the part where she grabs Mayuri and she turns Mayuri into the sword again, and as Mayuri's climaxing,
grabs, good word.
As Mayuri's climaxing, there's this weird scene where it's Mireille's face and Mayuri's boobs are just like flopping in front of her, and she goes, "Fusion transform."
Yeah, which is weird. It's weird. She's got like.
I don't know about you guys, but that's how I fusion transform. So.
I don't know. She's got like that. Her move. She's got the name of her move for about 3 or 4 episodes, and then you don't hear it after that. It's like the halfway through they were like, you know what, that's dumb. She shouldn't say that.
They don't care.
It's the same thing like certain Power Rangers episodes. Like right away they always do the Power Ranger scene like in the first episode, second episode, third episode, and then sometimes they just show up in the costumes, and then they'll go back to showing the transformation episode, like transformation. So with that one, they kind of hammered it, and this is called Fusion Transform. And then they just started doing it. Mm-hmm. And then she one-hit KOs the dominatrix. And then and then they get captured?
Chance.
No, wait, no. And then it goes into the next episode and Charlotte appears.
Yep.
But we get a flashback.
Look, oh my.
we get a little flashback of Mireille's background and how she was in a war against giant mechs. And
Yeah.
I said,
Or in Twin Tails.
the classic, let's send a girl wielding another girl against a giant mech kind of war.
Oh yeah.
And then I went, wait, what?
That's almost an anime trope.
It is.
It's
It
like,
is.
oh my god, we're fighting a war. How are we gonna win? I've got an idea. We should send sexy girls to fight them. And I don't know why they would not just use, guns or weapons or bombs. Apparently, big-titted, giant-ass chicks. Ultimate weapon. Ultimate weapon.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Fucking apparently.
The
It's a lot. Happens a lot. They're like, we could train girls to fight them. The bigger the boobs, the better. I mean, apparently that's the strategy. Like, we're fucking up. We're fucking up. Is all I'm saying. We train in a whole different army.
The opening for the show is actually we get a taste of the music at the climax of the not the literal climax, but the action climax of the last episode. But this we get the full opening this episode, and I really liked it. I thought the music was...
both the opening and the closing, some of the best we've had so far.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say that. I'd say that I liked the opening of King's Game more than I did the opening this one.
Overdrive! Come on, dude. It's one of the best we've had.
I do like King's Game's opening more, but I feel like
I
like this one a lot.
King's Game's too fucking edgelord for me.
No.
What does he say over and over? Like, it's the end. It's the end. It's the end.
This is the end.
This is the end. I like overdrive.
No. At one point, her voice shakes so much I can't tell if that's part of the song or if that's just bad.
It's one of the first ones I still remember. The other ones I don't really remember anything else about the song other than the Valkyrie Driver one. I remember. It's a good one. It's a good opening.
Yeah, and the closing song just reminds me of Baby Metal, so I can't listen to it.
Shame on you, other animes, because the porno has a better opening and closing song than you. Shame, shame, we know your name. Specifically you, Handshakers. Specifically you.
And then, so we get introduced to Charlotte, who manages to... The fights in the early episodes are pretty much just one-hit KOs, because Charlotte manages to, one-hit KO our main characters.
Does she have a web? No. Disappointing.
No, Charlotte's web. And so I keep wanting to say Mamori because Anthony Mamori has a little rescue fantasy to kind of play up the what's going to happen this episode, and we get really in depth into the lore of the armed virus that turns girls into weapons and blah 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 blah. Skip.
Blah blah blah. Porno.
Then Mamori's going to get married off. By married, they mean, we're going to assign a partner to you, and we're going to assign a partner to you.
Very strange.
We're going to have you marry a person. It was like because
that's weird.
Because it's like it's not actual marriage, but it's actual marriage. Also, you guys are going to bang on this bed, and we're going to watch.
It's not marriage, but here's a wedding.
Yeah.
And then we meet. We kind of meet Mei Fong in the previous episode, and she is taking bets because that's her character, and she frees Mireille from being captured.
Mei Fong's a good example. It's like all these girls get off on the person who controls them gets off, and then they turn into, they have powers. Mei Fong gets off by herself because she loves money, right?
Yes.
Yeah. She greed. Yep.
Yeah.
Greed.
Yeah.
Very interesting idea. Very, very creative. Better than Handshakers.
Pretty cool. Then we get the okay. So I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna get this one out of the way. They keep doing the Miss Virgin joke because Mamori's last name is Virgin in kanji, or is similar to Virgin in kanji, and it's not funny. I don't think it's funny.
It's not funny. It goes right over my fucking head.
Yeah.
I'm much too distracted by the porno to realize the jokes that are happening.
Well, I mean, like it's not even a joke anymore. It's just like oh, Miss Virgin, oh, my name's Mamori, and it's like It's because it's in English it's not the same. It's not the same word. So it's like Mamori, haha, virgin. You're like, I don't get it. I mean, like maybe it's because like in Japanese, like they probably address her by her last name more, and so then like it's the mispronunciation of her last name to Virgin, and it's like, and she's correcting them. So maybe it makes more sense in.
I mean, I get if her name was Virgin, that would be I would understand. I would be getting the joke. It's like you got a protagonist. His name's Dookie Head, and anytime he says his name, everyone snickers at him. I understand. I understand this joke. Dookie Head is a very silly name. But to me, Mamori, that's fine to me. I don't really get the joke there, the double speak there.
Well, we find out their ages at the end of this episode as well, and probably not for DJ, but how about for you, Anthony? Did finding out that Mamori's 16 and finding out that Mireille's 15 like kind of make this uncomfortable?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You're talking about something that we've already discussed in Aramanga Sensei, that this really like pushed the limits, but it's like the art style. Halfway through, you forget that they even talked about their ages, and like
agreed.
To DJ's point, they do a very good job because they know their audience. It's not like they're trying to force this down your throat that these are a bunch of high school girls competing and they want you to know their ages at all times. It's just, it was so overbearing and actually just a little small detail that's extremely overlooked. So it was gross.
Yeah, he's right. It could have been completely omitted, and you immediately forget that they even did that. It's like
there's just constant.
Who cares anyway?
There's constant references to Mamori being younger, and like that could have just been.
She looks older, so it's crazy that she's younger. Yeah.
Sorry, Mireille being Mireille being younger than Mamori, and she looks a lot older.
But that goes away pretty quick too. I mean, it's the same thing like I was saying before. It's like it's the culture. It's a different culture, and that's kind of stuff's kind of fine over there. So it's like, who cares?
I think what was tough for me too is like, okay, so we find out about the ages, and then you start thinking about like the flashbacks and stuff like that. So it was really hard for me to place Mireille in that time frame. As far as continuity is concerned, like, okay, so she's 15 now. How long ago was that, and how old was she when she was there? Was she 10?
She was 10.
Yeah, right? Like,
everybody knows you find a war, you send the 10-year-olds out there to fight. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. So.
Yeah, so they escape from Charlotte and the castle, and they eventually meet up with Meifong again, who brings them to like the like house of girls who don't want to fight.
The island of misfit toys.
And we meet Big Sis. I don't remember her actual name.
I didn't write it down. I wrote Big Sis. Who the fuck is this girl? Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Doesn't play much of a role.
She's kind of this she's kind of like the sorority like mom. Like here, she like kind of just watches over the girls.
She's special because she doesn't have the virus, right?
I thought she was just on the island like early.
Yeah, she's.
For some reason I got the idea that she was there because when she's talking to the guy at the end, he's like asking her all the questions, and I was like, I got the idea that like she like almost works there as like a guardian almost because she doesn't have the virus. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get more into that when they reveal that. We get a cool fight at the end of this episode. This is the best choreographed fight in the first like 3 episodes because it doesn't end in one hit. It almost ends in one hit, but it's because it's Charlotte and our main characters, and that's when Glasses Girl interrupts and does some cool, like kicks her so hard that it rips her tights.
Oh yeah, that was cool. That
And
was
then
cool.
Lady,
Show me more of that.
and then Lady and Lady enter the fray right at the end.
Best girl.
And we find out Lady and Lady are hybrids, so they can be liberators and X-Stars. And so that's how come like they're a good team, is because one turns into a motorcycle and the other one turns into a gun.
Like a key gun, rail gun thing.
Yeah, like a key rail gun.
Pretty weird looking.
I every time Lady J's on screen, I just can't take her. Lady J just doesn't fit the aesthetic of the show. It's like, because she shows up, she's wearing like Tharja's outfit from Fire Emblem, and everyone else is wearing like normal clothes, and then her boobs are the size of two other human beings.
Her nipples show, like half of her nipples show at all times.
Right,
and shit.
right.
Yeah.
It's
Physics. What are those?
And
yeah, and she's high and tight, despite her boobs probably weighing like 20 pounds each. I mean, they're big. They're pretty big.
and then I can't remember. Does Akira show up in this one, or does like she see? No, she does see. Akira shows up and stops the fight.
Right.
And this is where Momori, like the ongoing joke of Momori being obsessed with him, like starts, because she has that fantasy of being rescued by a knight, and Akira has this appearance of a very gentlemanly prince who's clearly a woman in drag. And
Yeah, she's got a big crush on him.
Yeah.
We'll do more on that later.
Yep, I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
So she's really obsessed with him, and she gets so obsessed with him pretty much that Charlotte leaves a girl behind to lure Momori out, and she does that by having Momori have a dream that Akira's there to take her virginity, and it flashes out and she's just masturbating in the woods.
Yeah.
And so
She's going to town.
going to town.
Going
And
to town.
she does turn into the sword, but Mireille shows up just in time to like push her over the edge and wield her, and then one hit KO the girl. After
But
almost
they also make Mireille think that she's being like groped by like shadow golem man or something like that. It's almost a scene you'd see in hentai. It's weird. It's kind of out of place in it. No, it's not.
If it would
I'm
have
lying. It's not out of place.
continued a little bit further, it definitely would have been in. But no,
Oh, yeah.
she bit her mouth and then one hit KOs her. Something I thought was funny, I guess, to me, is after hearing Mireille's age and her being 15, she says all these one-liners. And to me, it's like, if a 15-year-old came up to me and started saying these one-liners, I'd just laugh at them. It'd be a very edgy 15-year-old.
She's got a sword, though. What if it was a 15-year-old with a sword that said that to you, huh?
Oh, yeah, well,
She's also ripped.
yeah, and
She
a
also
giant.
murders people. Okay?
No, she doesn't.
There's
That's a
all
whole
those
plot
things.
point.
Well, I mean, pretty close.
We get then the next episode. We get our first filler episode. It's a pretty big filler episode too, if you get my drift.
It's the pageant.
It's,
No,
no, it's the
this is,
giant.
Giant
Oh.
lady.
That one, she's great. I'm a big
Mimi.
fan.
She's the only character in the show that has bigger boobs than Lady J.
And barely. All right,
And
barely.
she goes to the size of a house, and still you have to. It's by a nose.
You'd still have to measure.
It's a close close competition.
There's a part. There's a part in this episode. I don't have a lot of stuff about it, except there's one part where the commander kicks like the volleyball and it hits Mayfong in the face, and Mayfong
hilarious.
just goes, "What did I do?"
They hit you with a few filler episodes in a row here, right?
Yeah,
Like 5, 6, and 7 are all kind of.
it's like a sprinkle of like character development, like because it's like we get a little bit of who the commander is in this one, She's the type of girl who's going to protect that castle no matter what, including driving a car into a giant's shin. And I thought of that. Like,
Fuck that giant.
that's the equivalent of someone like coming up to you and throwing like a metal Hot Wheels car like right into your shin. I'm like that would slow me down. Like,
Easily.
next filler episode we got was the pageant / Mayfong filler episode.
That's a good one.
I enjoyed like Mayfong's like little trio of scam artists.
Yeah.
And then they turned on each other, and then we get Mayfong turning herself on with money and having Iron Man armor as her weapon.
Which is cool. Like I said, the concept of the weapons and transformations they're all cool. They're
all the
cool.
weapons are cool, and it makes you go, man. You think back at Handshakers, and you're like, come on.
I did not have a problem with Handshaker's weapons
Could have
design.
done better than
I
this.
did have a problem with like everyone having swords in Handshakers.
It's like.
But this is cool that not everyone's wielding
I'm cool
a sword.
I'm cool with Handshaker's weapon designs too, but you see some of these and you're like, these guys got really creative with this type of shit. You know, it's like this girl doesn't have one. This girl doesn't have one because she gets off on money. These two girls are hybrids. Like they got all these different variations. They got artificial ones. It's you look back and you're like, man, Handshakers, you're getting outclassed by the porno.
There's a part in this show that I thought was kind of funny. Is Mayfong gets betrayed by her like other two scam artists, and Mayfong's like, well, good thing I brought our main characters, and Maori and Mireille start making out to make the sword. And then the other scam artists go, oh, we gotta do that too. And so they're both just making out. And I'm
How
like,
intense.
I'm like, why doesn't like Mireille, who's this giant already we find out tough as nails girl, just punch him in the face while they're not a weapon.
Oh yeah.
While they're making out, punch them during the foreplay. Just
It's like even Charlotte and the Commander just a few episodes back too, and like every single time that somebody transforms, everybody's like, they're driving right now? Like, I just watched you kick that bitch in the face. Why don't you just run up and kick her? Like, what?
Exactly. So we get more of a Mayfong like character development episode. The next episode, one thing here that actually I thought was funny, we get the argument in the cafeteria, and it is literally fight, 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 kiss, kiss, kiss. Because they're yelling at each other, and then they grab their weapons, they start making out, and then they fight.
Yeah.
And this episode focuses on, and is the big reveal, that Kira is not who he says he is, and is actually a woman with the second biggest boobs in the show.
Yeah.
What? We
That
didn't
she
know
magically
the whole
takes
time.
down.
There's no way that nothing on this planet could keep those in there like that.
Yeah.
He's like,
No way.
oh, my boobs. Oh.
I'm going to also put on this wig to very insinuate that I am a woman.
Yeah. It's a good episode. I actually enjoyed this episode
They
quite
could
a
put
bit.
that reveal gif on Reddit on our titty drop, because it's, man. He opens up that armor and it's like, boom.
Oh, and this is the scene we get to because Akira and Big Sis are hanging out in a hot tub. And is this the scene you were talking about, DJ?
When I said what?
When Momori, like we talked about Momori having a crush on Akira, like in Lights.
No, I was talking about the one where she.
Oh, it was.
It's a little later. It's when. No, yeah, I was talking about the one where she gets the drug and is masturbating. Him.
In the woods.
Yeah, in the woods by herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
The part I was thinking of is this one because they run into them and Akira stands up and it's all woman and Momori looks at her and instantly turns into the sword.
Which is funny. That's funny.
I'm like,
that was funny.
I'm like that girl just came.
Oh yeah.
And so
That's pretty funny.
Part of this episode is really about Akira's like backstory and why she was told to act like a man is to basically say that on an island where everyone's like special, you have to be like even more special to kind of gain that like attention to lead. And so that's where like, oh, if you're the only dude who has this virus, then people are gonna flock to you. And so she does that. But a pretty good idea, pretty neat idea from.
And shit was in chaos before they had the leader, so
Yeah.
it's like
Because this is also kind of where this one is the subplot that there's people called the Watchers who are watching if these girls can live in society, and so that's how come like they're all trying to be proper, and so that way they can be prove to these Watchers that they can come back and live normal lives off the island.
yeah, the island's it's a quarantine. It's these people have the virus and they send them off to this island so they don't, I guess, infect anyone else. It's a quarantine.
Mm-hmm. And then we get so that episode ends with some betrayal thing of some girl who we've never met until this episode. Murray figures out Akira's a woman, though, because when Akira knocks that girl the fuck out, she grabs the wig, and Murray's like, oh, "Good thing I never talk, so that way I'll never tell anybody about this."
Secret safe with me.
She's Jack from Jack and Daxter.
He talks.
You're not in the first one, Jake.
Yeah.
Fuck, he doesn't talk in the first one. All right.
So the next episode tricked me. I thought it was going to be more filler, but it's actually a big plot drop. And it starts out with Lady and Lady in their RV. Well, driving up to their RV, and Akira tells them about a secret location that only, that she only trusts them to go to. And the catch is they have to bring our main characters. And then for some reason, Mayfong shows up, too.
Yeah, right.
One part I like in that is on the car ride up, Mayfong is like, what if we're fighting a monster? What if we're fighting all these crazy things? And then Mamori goes, tell her to stop. And she goes, Mayfong, stop.
She's pretty close. They're kind of fun monsters. I mean,
Yeah. And then there's like this hidden thing where Akira and Lady and Lady think that Murray is a soldier, and at this point I'm thinking, why wouldn't anyone not think that? Like, she's one hit KOing like your best people. She's clearly trained to do this kind of crap.
she's got something going on here, guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's, something's different about that one.
Yeah. Well, it's tough to gauge too. Like between Lady and Lady's, like, I don't want to call it power level, but like skill level almost. You know, it's hard to gauge. Like, you know that Lady and Lady have this higher skill, but then, you know, it's kind of hard to put like in between, right? It's hard to gauge.
To say what the soldiers are, they're so they took these normal people with this virus and they quarantined them on this island, but then some of them they took into like the military and they were like, we're going to use your virus to help us as a weapon and you're going to fight for us. And so the soldier ones are incredibly more powerful than just the normal ones with the virus. So that's why this chick is just stomping everybody out, just because she's a soldier.
Yeah. And so then they find that there's, well, they deduced that this is where like the island began, so there's a chance that for them to find a way off the island there, and that's when they're attacked by an artificial arm, which is like part cat, part woman for some reason. It's like
a robo-dog.
It doesn't have boobs, because I was like, well, okay, because I saw the feminine mouth, and so I'm like, does it have boobs? I'm like, no, it's just this like cat robot with a woman mouth.
Yeah, it's like a robo dog with like a blow up doll mouth. It's strange. And then Booby King guy, he's got an artificial arm too, right?
Yeah.
His is a robot.
His is a robot too, because he it's supposed to be like top tier, because his again, Akira's mom wanted it to protect them. we essentially Murray gets attacked. Not Murray. Mamori gets attacked by the artificial arm and has like some PTSD, so she can't get there. It's no one's fault. It happens to everybody.
She can't reach climax.
She just can't get there.
Sometimes you're a little too tipsy. You know, it's. I don't blame her.
And so Mamori has to like run away while Murray fights the thing, and it's kind of revealed that Murray has a transformation that she can go into. It's her enhanced form. And that was kind of lackluster. Like, not because, like, this transformation was lackluster. It was kind of like lackluster buildup. Like, we had she's like, I don't want you to see what happens to me. And I'm like, oh. And then she turns into, like, Witchblade.
Dark Jack.
And I'm like, I'm kind of just like, oh, what?
Right.
I'm like, okay, so is she a robot? And, like, and then Mamori comes back just in time to like help her. They drive together and they activate Valkyrie, which is the final part of the show title to show up because they're on Island Mermaid. They drive and now they have Valkyrie. So
Valkyrie Drive Mermaid.
The title's all here. And then we get introduced because they activate Valkyrie. So people who are watching the island are like, Valkyrie mode's there. So like, we have to send people, and we're introduced to Best Girl.
Hatsune Miku.
Best Girl. Twin Tails Best Girl.
Twin Tails
Great
is
villain.
Best Girl.
You know, you're 9 episodes into this anime, and I mean this porno anime, and all of a sudden you got a great villain showing up. She's awesome. By far the best villain we've had so far, you know, in all the animes we watch. She's great. I love her. Great villain.
So
Good motivation. She's nice and crazy. She's got twin tails. What more do you want?
Voiced in the dub by Jad Saxton, who is one of my favorite voice actresses. So
she's got a scene where she's
just
69, this girl with pink hair.
Casual 69ing Charlotte.
They have this scene with her and Charlotte. It's the planning scene. It's like this big scene for this villain
Lady
where
Macbething scene.
Yeah, it's like a Lady Macbething scene. She's manipulating Charlotte and taking control of the whole island, pretty much putting her plan into place, and the whole thing occurs while they're 69ing.
So
she's got a nice butt, Twin Tails girl. Very nice butt.
What leads up to this is her name is Momoko. Momoko lands on the island and instantly infiltrates the castle and starts to Lady Macbeth Charlotte.
It's a 69 and wine, dine, and 69.
Charlotte gets wine,
literal.
dine, and 69.
That's literal. That happened. That's what she does. She straddles the fuck out of her. And
so while part of the Lady Macbething of this is Momoko gets renamed Francois.
Yeah, Francois.
Because Charlotte has like a special unit called Adele, and she changes all their names because they all have to be like fancy names, and Momoko isn't fancy, but Francois is.
Yeah, get out of here with your fucking.
Yeah,
that's a plebeian name. I need a more fancy name, please, Francois.
So part of the Lady Macbething that Momoko / Francois does is say like, hey, you know, Momoko instantly meets Akira and goes, why are you dressed like a dude? And everyone's like, what? That is a dude. She goes, no, that's a woman. Why is that woman dressed as a dude? And I'm like, Momoko is the smartest character in the show.
By a long shot.
Like, are you taping your tits down? What? Just saying, dude. That looks like you are doing something there.
So Momoko then convinces like Charlotte to fight Akira one-on-one and expose Akira's gender, and then take over the island.
This is all discussed during a 69.
Yes.
This whole strategy plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they do it, and Charlotte kind of loses at first, and then you find out Momoko can transform without a liberator, and so Momoko's like, well, fine, I'll do it myself, and turns into like a giant gun.
She's a soldier.
And yeah, it's revealed she's a soldier. and she blows off not all of Akira's
Wink, wink.
clothes.
Fucking blows up.
Not all of Akira's clothes, but just the parts that would expose Akira as a woman.
Almost all. Everything but a tiny, you know.
No,
little,
she has her sleeves and she has her pant legs. That's
and
what's
she has
weird.
And a little crotch.
a little crotch piece of fabric
Yeah.
too.
Yes, and a little crotch piece of fabric.
Because when you're blowing somebody's clothes off, you want to leave them a little crotch piece of fabric, just because you don't want to be too lewd with it. So you want their tits to bounce around, but you don't want to embarrass them in front of everyone. You want them to keep their wits about them. Can't just blow off somebody's clothes and show their crotch. It's rude. That's like one of the number one rules of ecchi anime. It's like,
yeah, you can rip off as many clothes as you want, but you got to cover that crotch.
yeah, that's rude to show
Rude
someone's
to do
crotch.
that. So that episode ends with Charlotte essentially rising to power. The next episode, and this is like the only jarring part, kinda, for me with the way the story was flowing, is we kind of get a half a filler episode because we get Glass's background, like when her and her partner came to the island, they were getting abused and like almost raped, and
There was no rules.
there was anarchy,
No rules.
and so her partner gets essentially traumatized to the point where she can't drive. And so that's how come we learn Glasses becomes this really good liberator by herself, is to essentially keep the island in line, make everything okay, so they can get off, so that her and her partner can get off the island,
Her partner never comes out of her room either.
or out of her bed.
But she doesn't start writing erotic mangas.
No, that's boom.
Full circle.
There's a part I wrote it down in a few episodes. I can't remember what happens in this episode, but I'm like, why not just shoot them during the foreplay? Again. Oh, it's when they all have their gun. They have all the guns aimed at Lady, and they're like, "You're coming with us." And
She wraps her head, like her hand around Lady J's head, and they start making out in front of them, and they're like, "Hey, you guys, stop that! We're gonna take you in.
Don't be turning into weapons now."
They're like, and they're like, "Stop that! We're gonna take you in. You guys stop."
Clearly, this has worked so well for us.
Maybe if
in
they
the
shot at
past.
them, it would just turn them on more, and then they would drive faster. Maybe that's what they were trying to stop.
Yeah, and we get our main characters, because they happen to not be at the sorority house when the sorority house got like all of their girls kidnapped. So they go to the castle looking for them, and at the castle they find Akira like on display, and so they help Akira.
That's pretty crazy.
They help Akira, and then they get attacked by the commander, because the commander's partner is being held hostage. So they're like, "Oh well, you can fight the Mamori and Mireille for us." And so they fight.
They're like, "Listen here, Glasses. If you don't listen to us, we're gonna beat up your little loser that's in this room over here." So she's like, "Okay, I'll fight for you."
Pretty much. And so they fight, which is a pretty cool fight scene. Pretty good fight choreography.
She's got lightning kicks like
She
Captain
has,
Falcon.
She does have lightning kick, which is weird because it's like not really explained why she has lightning kick. She just has it. And then they end up saving her partner, so they stop fighting, and the rest of Adele is there, and they get taken out because of just how powerful activating Valkyrie drive is. Or just,
Like a shockwave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a shockwave, and then all of Adele loses, and I'm like, well, that's a shame.
There's our exposition.
They get Team Rocket blasted off again.
Then we get into the next episode because we get a little more background on Momoko, and I wrote right here, I'm like, okay, because Momoko is like, I hate you, and I'm going to steal this girl from you, and then it goes into black background, and I go, so it's either going to be a legitimate reason why she hates Mireille, or it's just going to be, I'm doing this because I'm evil. And it turned out to be a legitimate reason.
It's interesting because they show
yeah.
the same scene previously with less context. And it looks like they're like totally in love with each other, Murray and Francois. I like to call her Francois the Deceiver.
Okay.
So Francois the Deceiver and Murray are like totally in love with each other, and she like looks to Francois, and Francois is like, "Why?" Because it looks like they're like being split up and they're sad to lose each other. But it actually turns out that Murray was, refusing to do her job, and it got them captured. And now Francois is like, "Why would you get us fucking captured like this?" Pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially the only way, and like Murray got lucky that she knew knew the person like doing the enhancements, because and like he felt bad about it because then he like fakes her death and she gets to escape, whereas Momoko, aka Francois the Deceiver, has to basically bargain to stay. So she's like, well,
Yeah, she has to.
you can do whatever experiments you want on me, just don't kill me, don't like do that. And they do. They turn her into like this really enhanced weapon.
They give her crazy eyes and everything.
They give her crazy eyes. They steal. She steals Momori,
Swiper, no swiping.
and freaking one hit KOs Lady and Lady, which I thought was weird. I'm kind of like, they build up Lady and Lady, like they don't even last like 2 seconds fighting her on their own. Well, I guess you can say that's just how powerful Momoko is.
Yeah, she's got a laser beam. How are you going to fight that?
Then they land with Momori, and Charlotte's there, and she's like, "What is this?" And instantly Momoko slaps her in the face. Tells her, "Be quiet, and you might get off."
That's
this
my
island."
best part. She's like, "This is my island, and you gotta listen to me before you go into this room." And she slaps her in the face and walks right by her. It's like, no, I'm Francois the Deceiver, bitch. You can't beat me. Look at my twin tails. Slut.
And so the full flashback happens. We find out that enhancing turns your hair a different color, I guess.
Necessary plot point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then Murray's like, "I'm going to go save Momori," and Lady are like, "We'll help you." And she goes, "Why are you helping me?" I'm like, "You've been hanging out with them pretty much since you got to the island." Maybe they're your friends? I don't know.
Surprise.
And so they show up. They take a rest. They take a little nap. And then they show up to the island. They show up to the castle. And the girls who they beat in the first episode are like in charge of like the gate. And they're like, "Let us through." And she goes, "Okay," and gives them a thumbs up. And I'm like, why would these girls who have failed on every occasion, it seems like, be in charge of anything?
They beat us so many times. Yeah, but go guard the front gate.
We're just going to let them by. I don't want to get my ass kicked again.
Go out there.
Guard the gate. Okay, I'm just going to let them walk in.
Character development. That's character development. They're
Instead of getting their ass kicked, they just let them in. That's character development.
Then we get Charlotte is teamed up with the chubby soldier. Oh yeah, Monaco has like 2 other soldier arms with her.
This plant lady.
Plant lady
Turns
and
into like
arm?
a big old plant.
Well, she has like the hair arm girl, and then the
chubby girl who turns into the plant, like the giant, turret.
Yeah.
And so her and Turret Girl and Charlotte fight Lady and Murray, and Lady and Lady Lady and Lady together when they're both driving can turn into like future motorcycle, future Phoenix.
Phoenix plane, jet
Phoenix
engine.
Phoenix plane, motorcycle, jet ski.
Yeah. Still, the seat is still.
The seat is still Lady
band.
J's face.
Yeah. The 80s band. No, it's just behind her now. Now it's looking at her panties instead of, right in the front. The 80s band, Lady J, Jefferson, airship, starship,
Phoenix
airplane.
Flame, airplane.
Yeah, so they basically just crash into the girl and knock out Charlotte and the soldier girl. And we find out that Momori is actually like has like a high compatibility rate with the Valkyrie.
She's got a lot of midichlorians.
Yeah, she's got a lot of the virus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so Monaco basically has forced her into climaxing to wield her.
If you were at this point, you're like, man, this porno is great, but it's missing my favorite genre of porno, which is mind break. I just love mind break porno. Well, man, did they take care of you here?
Yeah.
'Cause they're like, wait, we're missing a genre? Throw that shit in there, and they do.
That also alludes to Monaco possibly going through some sexual abuse, because she's as she's like touching Mamori, she's like, oh yeah, I know that pain can turn into pleasure, and if it's against your will, it's even better, blah blah blah. And she goes, why do I know this? And it's like, it's because it happened to me. And you're like, geez, like this show got dark.
She's like, how do you think I got these twin tails, huh?
And so then we get into this last episode had some parts in it that I was like, what? Like, we get a cool... I enjoyed the team fight. I enjoyed everyone, like all of their friends coming together. Commander's partner gets over her like trauma, and so the commander's partner turns into boots and gloves. How useless do those 5 girls feel now? That one girl can turn into boots and gloves.
Wait a second. She's all 4?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm only 1 boot.
It's like when Piccolo and Nail first transform, and then Frieza still kicks the shit out of him. That's kind of how I felt in this situation, where it's like you finally get to see her arm, and then
it's exactly like that.
She still gets her ass beat.
Yeah, because like it was one of those ones I feared. Because there's always like some overpowered character who's like, oh, I'm strong because I'm not the meta type deal. But then they do the meta and they're not as strong as everybody else, and it's kind of like, what? Like, shouldn't that mean whatever? But I enjoyed like this team fight, like because we get Lady and Lady fighting along, we get Mei Fong fighting along.
Anytime Lady J's around, I'm perfectly content.
And then Monaco sucks everybody into the sword, because that's what happens when you have a lot of the virus. You can suck people into swords.
She's like, really, losers?
She
well,
could just
I'm going to absorb your powers.
She could just do that. She just flips a switch and then sucks everybody in.
And at this point, if you got past the mind break and you were like, and I really like this porno, but I just really like tentacle pornos. I'm really big into tentacle pornos. They got you. They got you covered here too, because they're like, oh shit, we haven't covered tentacles yet. Well, throw them in. And they do.
Yep. And there's a lot of tentacles and a lot of people not enjoying themselves. Eventually, they break out, and Monaco and her soldier buddies turn into a giant robot, and we get a pretty cool. Oh fuck! I have the what? What am I looking at here? And that's when Momori and Mireille 100% Valkyrie drive Mermaid.
Oh yeah.
And she's like Hello Kitty, she's like Gundam.
Yeah, Sailor Moon. Armored Gundam. She's got a little kitty on her forehead.
That's the fusion dance.
Yeah,
it's the fusion dance.
She's ready to. That's her ass kicking outfit.
Yeah,
that's her ass kicking outfit.
So they all fight the giant robot, and Monaco is still mad, and Mamori goes, "We promised we'd help everybody," and so they start absorbing the virus out of everyone. Like everyone on the island, they absorb the virus out of, and they even the bad people, like they cure Monaco of her disease. But we also get treated to a Monaco Mireille nude makeout scene.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens. All the girls get to leave and go home, but and we find out actually earlier that Big Sis is the Watcher, the mythical Watcher that is keeping track of these girls. And so they're like, oh, we need a full report of what happened. And they go, hey, wait a minute, there's like 5 names missing. And she goes, oh, they're doing something else, and we see a speedboat, and on the speedboat is Mamori and Murray, and they're like, we're gonna help the 4 other islands.
Sequel.
And then look over, and Murray goes, I understand why we're helping, but why is Mayfong here? And Mayfong's like, who else is going to have an accent? Nobody else but me.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then they go, okay, I understand why Mayfong's here now, but why are Lady and Lady here? And they're like, well, who's going to drive the boat? And they're like, oh, okay.
And Lady J's like, I'm the only reason you're watching this fucking show, all right? And you're like, oh yeah, sorry I questioned you, Lady J.
And so that was Valkyrie Drive Mermaid. It looks like we might get a sequel, Valkyrie Drive, some other island.
Mermaid?
Valkyrie Drive Centaur.
Not.
Isn't there like a little
so
mini-series or something like that that's like set differently or something like
There's
that?
a video game, and the characters on the video game case actually appear at the end of the series. They're the 2 girls who we have never seen before go, wow. And I'm like, who are they?
The same action. I'm like, who the fuck are
Is
these
it the girl that
people?
goes, what says that Gundam?
So there's that. We forgot to do this for King's Game, but so let's go into it right now. How would you guys fix this? If you think it needs fixing, how would you fix it?
Doesn't need fixing.
Did
Valkyrie Drive Mermaid accomplishes all it sets out to do. It is a softcore hentai with surprisingly okay storyline. And that's it.
Okay.
What would I change? Maybe I mean, fuck, they got a great villain. Maybe take out some of those filler episodes. Introduce, your good villain earlier on so we can have more time with her. Other than that, I mean, fuck. For softcore hentai, not fucking bad. Not fucking bad.
Okay. For me, we have 3 filler episodes, and we have 3 members of Adele. It'd be really cool to have made all those villains of Adele at least be like villains in all those episodes where we were getting character development. Like we get built up to this, like, these 3 characters, like, oh, these are my like elite guard, and then they get beaten by a power shockwave. And
yeah, Charlotte kind of sucks as a villain. They should do what you said, or introduced the good villain, Francois the Deceiver, a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's the filler episodes are slow. The episodes with plot, I was legitimately interested, but I had to deal with 3 episodes of being really bored. Mayfong I thought was great. I like a comic relief. I like a comic relief who is also like some sort of kind of an asshole. Villain's great, like DJ said. I enjoyed the villain. How about you, Anthony?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with a lot of those points. I think that this anime did a lot of things right, and pretty blatant to the thing that they did wrong, which was make this a softcore porn. I have such a hard time, like, applauding it because those scenes are just so overbearing to a point of being uncomfortable. And it's not because I'm prude or anything. It's just that it's
square.
It's just unrealistic. You can. Do you put your nipples together with girls when you have sex with them? That's ridiculous.
Every time.
It's unrealistic, and I understand that I'm watching an anime, but like that it was so overbearing, and like it took away from a lot of the strong points. To the point of having a decent amount of plot. Like I generally watched up to 6 episodes, and I said to myself, you know what? I want to keep watching. I do want to keep watching, but every single time you're jarred by these, these over the top sexualized scenes.
The counterpoint to that is that they knew that's what they were doing.
Oh yeah, no, and I'm not trying to shit on that point. It's just like it's trying to be two completely different things. Like, something that I had a really easy time with was, like I said, the concepts of the characters and the weapons and even like the overall story and plot, like those were good. Those were defining points. Like when you think about it, it scored what did it score on my anime list? I think it scored like a 6.3.
Double D.
Handshaker scored less than that.
Well,
Handshakers,
because Handshakers is not as good. So,
but still, I mean, like
you can take out the porn, and Valkyrie Drive Mermaid would still be better.
Like, I mean, without changing the entire anime, I think that the only way to really fix this is to either cut back on a lot of those scenes or find a way to actually have these characters drive by not orgasming. I mean, take a look. I mentioned Sekirei, like right in the beginning. Like Sekirei does it perfectly. They kiss, and therefore you activate your Ashikabi's pact, and you're able to use your abilities. Like that's super cool. That's a very cool concept. But like
it way
when
way
you have like
normal ecchi, way farther.
Agreed. This is kind of like ecchi anime, like on steroids. Mm-hmm. You get you got Sekirei, you got Freezing that both have that ecchi like feel to it, but also have like the action to it. This one's definitely leans more towards ecchi with like where I'd say like Sekirei is like an action ecchi anime. This one's like a ecchi kind of actiony anime.
It's ecchi first, action second. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So without trying to change the entire anime, I mean, like, I 100% agree. I think that your antagonist isn't clear within the first couple of episodes. I didn't think that Charlotte was the main antagonist, so I think that introducing Momoko super early would have been pretty cool. Perhaps giving
Francois the Deceiver,
like building up her like deception, like you get her early and you're like, oh, she's this real loyal character, and it's like, wait a minute, she's Lady Macbeth.
She was planning that shit the whole time. That would be cool.
The Mirei's character, I think that giving her more of those flashbacks, showing that she has PTSD instead of just like showing it in just a very small flash, like right at the end of the anime. I think that was a mistake. I think that playing out that she's so protective over Mamori is because that she has PTSD from losing Momoko. I think that would have been super cool, and I think that you would have been able to build on this idea that they were soldiers first, and then go into all the rest of this antagonistic, deal going on with Momoko.
I got the idea that she didn't even really know Momoko that well. I thought that she was PTSD'd out just because she didn't want to kill people and they were forcing her to.
Well, yeah, it's part of that, like part of the PTSD of I don't want to kill people and they're forcing me to kill people, but it's also added to the I couldn't really like. My choices led to me not being able to help someone, and that's how come like her like when she does help that girl and that girl turns her into like turns her into like whatever agency launches these torpedoes these girls at an island. She's like, well, I can't help anybody. Like
she's like I wasn't just gonna stand by. She says something like that.
Yeah, I think that having a pretty defined. I don't want to call it hierarchy, but like a rating system. I don't know if this is just me. I didn't really, like I said before, I can't really gauge like where ladies, power level actually is in comparison to these soldiers. I mean, you can definitely gauge that the soldiers are the highest class, and then what the beach girls are the lowest class. Like
you could do like a ladder system.
Exactly, or like an S system. Yeah.
The lowest girls are A, and then you could go B, C, D.
The lowest girls
double D.
In the show, the lowest girls are C, and
then
there's
D.
A rank.
Okay.
And then there's lady.
Quadruple D.
Right. Which are like gauged outside of that. That's another missed opportunity too with Lady. They bring up their agency that they were involved with, but it was so quick that I almost had to go back and I had to skip back just so that I could catch it again. I think that building on their background, that would have been super cool. I think that adding to that would have definitely helped. Overall, though, like to DJ's point, Like, they know their audience. This was meant for literally guys that want to see unrealistic lesbian scenes be portrayed in anime,
Let's
and I
not
think
call them
that...
unrealistic. I mean,
Are you fucking kidding me? You have some girl
don't
put her
dash
nipple
my-
into
don't dash
somebody
my
else's
hopes and
nipple.
dreams
That's
here.
fucking ridiculous.
Really, if you really love that scene, you should watch the fourth OVA.
it's
Because
way crazy.
that's all it is lady and lady going at it.
Yeah.
The sixth OVA has one of my favorite lines because it's Monoko and Murray, and Monoko goes, "What do you mean your heart's not ready? What does that even mean?" and then Monoko goes, "My body's hot, ready, and good to go." And she like pulls down her pants, and you can tell that she's literally dripping wet. And she goes, "So I don't give a rat's patootie if your heart's not in it." And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Just don't dash my dreams, Anthony. Telling me that's not realistic. You know, a man can hope.
All right, so we talked about how to fix it. All right, let's go ahead and let's end spoilers. All right, welcome back. If you skip spoilers, so just a brief rundown of our rating system. We have 3 ratings. We have our lowest rating, which is trash. People are right to judge it as bad. It is bad. There's really no good to watch it if you don't don't go out of your way to watch this. Then we have recycling bin, where we say that this show has some redeeming qualities. Maybe it's not for me, but there's people who would like it. If you have a genuine interest in watching it, go watch it. If you don't go out of your way. Then we have a find, and this is a show that we believe got some undeserved hate, is pretty good, and should be added to your to-watch list. And so let's go ahead, and we're going to go this Three Bears style. Anthony, you're pretty hot. What's your rating on it?
Okay, so this anime was one that I didn't expect to turn out the way that it did. And not in the horrible dying, flame garbage pile that is Handshakers, and definitely not in a creepy, not my sister still love this character type of way that Eromanga Sensei was. This anime definitely left me wanting more, in a sense that there was a very big missed opportunity, but the blatant nudity and, quite frankly, tasteless overtone outshined the finer points of the anime in the absolute worst ways possible. The correct ways, there are correct ways to use lewd overtures, and definitely wrong ways. And in the case of Valkyrie Drive Mermaid, it was absolutely overbearing and uncomfortable. Tons of missed opportunities on a show that I feel had some pretty awesome concepts and some pretty awesome characters, but ultimately felt rushed at the end and leaves the viewer nothing to be desired. It is, at least for the ones with their pants still on. And I'm going to say that this garbage should stay in the trash.
All right, we have one trash. All right, DJ, you seem to be going a little too cold on this anime.
I mean, I think if you like ecchi, you'll like this anime. Especially if when you watch ecchi, you're like, man, this is too teasy for me. I need more. Then you definitely like this anime. If you want your ecchi to straddle the line of hentai as close as it can get, then you'll really, really like this anime. I think, it's got good characters. It's got the best villain we've encountered so far. It's got a lot of interesting plot points. They thought about what they wanted to add into it. I think it was more carefully put together than a lot of these animes that we've watched, despite it being, pretty much just smut. It's basically a porno, and it's a lot more well thought out than some of the stuff that we've watched that doesn't have that stigma against it, So I think it is a recycling bin. If you feel like you're going to be into something like this, I think you'll enjoy yourself.
Okay. All right, for me, a show that has a pretty interesting concept, not something that we haven't seen before. I mean, Soul Eater has characters that turn into weapons, but this one adds that ecchi flavor to it. And in a sense, kind of adds this new idea. It takes an idea I've seen before and kind of gives it this cool spin. Cool being a bad word choice of words, kind of, but still. I believe other shows have done ecchi better, but this one does ecchi harder. The characters in it, while being kind of like similar to other characters in other anime, still seem to be their own. The weapons are pretty cool, pretty well thought out. They build their world great. I think it's really neat to see different characters have different forms of the virus and react different ways to the virus. The villain is likable and has great motivation and is interesting enough to really keep you watching, like after some episodes. So for me, this is recycling bin. I think if you have a genuine interest in this show, go watch it. You won't be disappointed.
I think that's the first time me and Jake have agreed.
That has. No, we agreed on everyone put handshakers in the trash.
Well, that one.
That one's not fair. That's like giving everybody like a gold brick saying, "Are you happy with this?" And you go, "Yeah."
Yeah. Do you want $10? Yes, I do.
I think though that's the first time me and Anthony have disagreed.
Oh, interesting.
I think so. Yeah.
All right, so that was Valkyrie Drive Mermaid. So we only got to talk about one episode last week. So we're going to go into our current anime of the winter season, and that is Killing Bites. Which one of you guys wants to give a brief rundown of what Killing Bites is?
I believe I talked about what Killing Bites was last time, so I think Anthony can tell us what Killing Bites is.
All right.
Killing Bites is the one with the sharper fangs wins. That's what Killing Bites is.
Okay, all right. I think we're good to go ahead and
throw
up that spoiler tag, and let's talk about episodes 7, 8, and 9. Episode 7. I really, really enjoyed that episode.
Oh,
I
yes.
need refreshers on which one is which. Is 7 the makeout session?
Yes.
Yes.
Episode 7.
Pretty good stuff.
Episode 7 goes from Crocodile getting his mind blown to me getting my mind blown.
Wait, what's happening here? Oh, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of funny because we just finished this anime that we just talked about previously, and then jump right into episid 7. I'm like, God, damn it!
I'm sick
I can't get
and
away from
goddamn tired of these ladies making out.
I did enjoy. I did enjoy it. I think that that was pretty badass seeing Keto punch through Crocodile's head
and then beat his corpse into fertilizer. Come on.
Yeah. That's a little. That for me was like I was still up in the air too, because like we have talked about, kind of what type of animal he absolutely was. So I'm sitting here going, what the fuck is it? What is it? What is he? Is he a rhinoceros?
It was clear to me that he was obviously beating him into the ground to create fertilizer because he needs larger grass to grow, larger grasslands to grow, so he could be disguised and camouflaged in those grasslands because he is indeed a zebra.
This episode actually caused me and a friend of mine to talk about what his animal is. And he's like, "Did you change your mind? Like, do you think he's still a elephant?" And I'm like, "No, now I think he's a turtle." And he goes, "Oh, I think armadillo." And I'm like, "Oh." And instantly I thought of Ross from Friends dressed as the Hanukkah armadillo. And I was like, "Oh, now I want it to be an armadillo. And I want it to tell me about Hanukkah."
I'm proud to say I never faltered. Until the big reveal, I was 100% Team Zebra the whole way, all the way through.
So we really got makeout session. We got Keto punching a hole in Crocodile's head. Then the next episode,
this one we have Tiger show.
Tiger shows up right at the end. Tiger shows up right at the end.
Tiger.
And it's a 3v1. And then the next episode, we have our main character, our main scaredy boy, realize that he kind of screwed up by having Hitomi go there. But then he sees Hitomi's face and he's like, "You know what? No, I'll stand by my decision. That was a good idea."
Which is cool. That was cool.
And then I because people are breaking down what he said, and it's like, technically he's not standing by he's standing by his decision to listen to Hitomi.
It's like character development. Oh no,
he's still the same guy.
Still the same guy.
And then we have our bunny girl running away from Gorilla Curious George, and Curious George starts ripping trees and throwing them to block her way, and Keto doesn't like that.
Yeah, Keto he don't play that.
Keto says like I'm Captain Planet. Bad.
Very Captain Planet. Yeah.
And don't bully nature.
Don't bully nature. I thought all those actions were very zebra-esque. You know, zebras like trees. So,
and cutting people in half.
And punching people through the head?
Yeah, it was his hoof attack, was what I thought.
Well, explain the cutting in half.
It was his hoof cut. His hoof cut.
And then he ripped him right in half, huh?
It was his zebra striped slice.
And then he cuts Gorilla in half. Gorilla, you find out Gorilla is bullied and then became a gorilla and then murdered his classmates.
I love that they give you a little taste of motivation with all these guys.
I do too.
It's like, oh, I kind of can relate to this guy. He was bullied. Now he's a big and strong, and now he's trying to get back at him. He's dead now. But yeah, I could have.
Yeah, okay. I thought he might get knocked out. I thought he might get knocked out, and I'm like, oh, we'll have this character come back at a later time. And no, he gets cut in half. Instead, a character that we have come back at a later time is Rape Snake. Rape Snake's still alive.
Comes back. Great motivation from Rape Snake too. He just wants to rape.
He snakes.
So he became a snake,
but
so he could
also
rape
rapes.
even better.
But he snakes.
He became a snake so he could rape even more efficiently.
So
you even say that they're like people. They started letting really mean people to become therianthropes, and they just used it so they can do even more crime. And then it shows like a picture of Rape Snake raping around.
Yeah.
He loves to rape.
And so Hitomi throws the top half of Rape Snake at like a camera crew and goes, "Hey, sew this guy together." And they're like, "What? He's a reptile. He'll heal." And they're like, "You're gonna why?" She's like, "I'll kill you." And they're like, "Okay." And then
now we get Rape Snake redemption arc. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna come back and get cut in half again.
Yeah, he doesn't have any penises
I don't
anymore.
rape anymore. I don't rape.
He's like, they just call me Snake now.
Yeah. My name is My name is Safety Snake, because I care about people's safety now.
So then Tiger and Hitomi get into a fight, and Tiger is basically like doing is spamming his like one move. Then we get into the next episode, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know if it's at the beginning of the next one or at the end of that one where he tells them about Leo.
Oh, it's that episode. He says that Leo's tough, and like there's no way you could have beaten Leo because the only person who can beat Leo is me.
Yeah, apparently Leo was trying to push her a little harder to draw out her true strength, and she cheap shotted him, and that's why she beat Leo.
Yeah.
Which is possible.
Which is like it's kind of It's kind of interesting to hear about this world before we were introduced into it, because like, Leo have this like begrudging respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
This bromance.
And then Hitomi shows up and Hitomi's like, "Fuck all you guys, I'm fucking honey badger."
He don't care.
So then Bunny Girl shows up, and Bunny Girl instantly gets hit by the pheromone thing. And since she's a rabbit, like she's like, "Oh, I want to make babies."
The pheromone girl's like, "What? There's still more left? What the fuck?"
She's like, "It should barely be here. I dissipated it." And so then the next episode.
Oh, wait. She also has probably one of the best scenes that...
Is it her life flashing before her eyes?
Yeah, life... Oh my gosh.
My life flashed before my life. My life flashed before my eyes, and it was so short.
It's like, I really love digging and sleeping. Oh my god, my life just flashed before my eyes.
Because my life just flashed before my eyes. It was so short and basic. So she shows up to warn them that Keto is coming. Mm-hmm. And Keto
Zebra.
And so Keto shows up, partway, like about 10 minutes into into episode 9, and he fucking shows up because Tiger's about to go all out and end Hitomi. But then he shows up, and you realize Hitomi read Tiger's movements, and then Tiger jumps out of the way, and Hitomi gets hit by this giant fucking metal tail thing. And
at this point, I'm thinking, okay, so some zebras do have armored tails, so he's still a zebra. That's what I'm thinking at this point.
Okay, he comes out, and instantly I'm like, fuck, I know exactly what he is. He's the freaking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes around and he's just beating the crap out of Hitomi. And you realize that Hitomi, that Kito's player, the disgrace killing bites and I'll kill you girl, planned it all along. It was basically she baited Yuya to have Hitomi hang out there still. Because
playing them like fools.
Because Kito would have a problem fighting in the forest, whereas because he'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to hurt the trees," and Tiger would be like, "Oh, this is my home turf," and so now they're fighting in a small village.
The zebras prefer open fields.
Now they're fighting in a small village, and as they continue to fight, Tiger starts. Kito basically knocks Hitomi out for good, like that he feels like, and Tiger jumps in and tries to fight him. Meanwhile, Pheromone Girl and Bunny Girl kind of have a fight where Bunny Girl has her fall into a pitfall trap. And Pheromone Girl falls into the ground and then she gets buried.
Yeah, she buries the hole.
Fucking rip.
Oh,
rip.
Like Bunny Girl freaking got a KO.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
right?
So that leaves Cheetah and Bunny watching Tiger fight Kito, and Hitomi is currently unconscious. And that's where we left off.
Kito does full transformation.
Oh, Kito goes full transformation and reveals that he is a pangolin, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which sucks. Because, I really wanted him to be a zebra.
This is something that made me go, this show's so fucking good. Because no fucking way would I have ever thought of a freaking pangolin.
Pangolin? I had to look it up, too. I was like, what the shit?
I didn't think that. I thought I was surprisingly pretty close.
They had 4 legs? And a tail.
They're
and
both
a head.
a mammal, I guess?
What was Jake's? What did Jake pick? Elephant. Which is like some crazy badass beast. Anthony picked crazy badass beast rhino. And I figured, I don't think this guy's going to be something crazy. I think he's going to be it's going to be, a surprise. And I went with zebra.
It's still, you can't say you're kind of close. Just because you get surprise.
If we were to look at a pangolin and compare them to a rhino, an elephant, and a zebra, I think the closest, probably a zebra.
That's like going on The Price is Right and having the thing be $1 million and everyone going $1,000,001, $1,000,002, and you going 1 cent. And you being the closest without going over.
Yeah, I agree. I was the closest without going over. I lowballed it at zebra, and it turns out he was a armadillo. And you guys went too high. Both of you guys went too much.
So
You bust. I didn't bust.
we can talk about the little shorts at the end of the episodes. Because we had that. We had basically her getting punched in the face like twice, right?
The cosplay one, and then there was it was the first cosplay one where she's watching Hitomi fight blood lizard lady.
Oh yeah, and she's like, "Oh, Hitomi's a cosplayer."
Yeah,
And then the next episode is that she has Hitomi, the bunny girl, and Ezra in her room, and they're all cosplaying, and then she's like grabbing all their boobs, and she's like, "This is amazing," and then Hitomi punches her in the face.
She's like, "You're being annoying." She's like, "Bliss."
And then the one in the last episode was Hitomi is hanging out with Yuya, and she's like, "Not on my watch," and texts Hitomi to go to IHOP, and then tricks Yuya to get chased by Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're a meshy."
He's like, "You're a fishy. Get over here."
So I don't know if you guys saw the preview, but it looks like we might be getting, quote, I'm doing air quotes, full transformation Hitomi next episode.
Yeah, it looked like
saw that. Saw that. That's cool.
So I'm
Still holding out hope. One day.
There will be a zebra one.
One day.
So we have 3 more episodes left of the show. Because
Of Killing Bites?
Of Killing Bites. We have 3 more episodes of Killing Bites. I am looking forward to what happens next. I'm kind of curious. I'm thinking that they're going to have like a tiger cheetah Hitomi like hit
Tiger
like the
cheetah
same
zebra.
like hit the same spot like numerous times and try to like hit his armor for Hitomi to get like a slash in. That's my prediction of how they're going to try to take him out. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you guys think? How do you think they're going to take out Keto?
I think that it will come down to all 3 of them, like just all either repeatedly or just using Cheetah's speed and then Tiger's and Hitomi's slash. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
I think they'll bite his soft belly.
Bite his soft belly?
Because that's how I would kill an armadillo.
They're going to turn him into a zebra and make him run away from Tiger. That's what's going to happen.
No, if he turned into a zebra, he'd be the strongest, Anthony. What are you talking about?
We're forgetting about a character. What they're going to do is those 3 are going to be like pushing him backwards, and then Bunny's going to sneak up behind him like on her hands and knees, and they're going to knock him down. And he's going to fall into Hippo's mouth, and Hippo's just going to bite down on him, bite his head off. Done.
He's gonna fall down and he's not gonna be able to get back
He's
up.
Gonna roll in this like a turtle.
And then they're gonna eat his soft underbelly because that's what armadillos have.
He'll be exposed in the hot sun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, the vultures will come. Right now his belly is warm, but then the vultures will come. So
I can't wait for Zebra to show
up. We don't 3 episodes, I guess, for a zebra to show up.
Season 2, Zebra.
They talked about Shido in this one a little bit, where it's like is the guy who has the reptile team. Seems like he might have some hidden chameleon like reptiles there. And talk about Shido and like what's his real goal. And I thought to myself like, well, how funny would it be if Shido's real goal was just to create the perfect like animal eared cute like cat girl.
Like one day I'll
like at the end of Killing Bites, he's like, finally, she's done. And they're like, oh no, what is it? And then the tube will open and it's fucking Felix from ReZero. And it's like, hi everybody. Meow.
Hi, how may I serve you, master?
Meowster. And it's like, perfect. So let's go ahead and end our spoilers now. If you skipped our spoiler discussion on Killing Bites. So right now is the part of the podcast where we talk about next podcast's show. So next podcast, we are going to be talking about episodes 10 and 11 of Killing Bites and an anime that had a lot of people going, that's a nice boat. The anime we will be watching is School Days.
Yeah.
You're both going, what the hell is School Days?
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll be watching School Days. The nice boat is that I believe the joke comes from like the finale while it was airing got canceled. And so it aired like stock footage of a boat.
Interesting.
What?
Interesting. Okay.
The finale of the show, I believe, got cut off for stock footage of a boat.
That's hilarious.
So we'll be watching that. If you want to follow along, like I said, you can probably find that on certain streaming websites. Killing Bites is available on Amazon Prime. If you like what we do here, feel free to subscribe or leave a comment.
Let us know in the comments.
If you want to follow us on social media, our Twitters are in the link below. All right. Thanks for listening.
Later, skaters.
Bye-bye.